this live. Happy Turkey Week, right? It's Thanksgiving week. And it is Tuesday, and we're here today with another episode of T3. I'm Creative Director here at Fun Stampers Journey. My name is Kim Kesti, and I'm super excited to bring you another tips, tools, and techniques because, we might be able to squeeze a little bit of creative time in this week, right? I hope so. So we are definitely starting to think about holidays, and we're getting in the holiday gear. And by the way, if you are watching this live, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, keep in mind that we have also started something exciting here on the website, and that is funstampersjourney.com. And of course, along with our sisters over there at Spellbinders, we have a great holiday hoopla sale starting right now. So that definitely might be something you might want to check out to start off your holidays in the really, really bright way. And speaking of bright ways, that is what our project is going to be about today. So let's take a look at what we're going to use for our project today. It is going to be a holiday card. So I'm going to be using some really fun die sets. I'm going to pull these back out in a minute, but we're using the branch and cone die set and also this darling little ornament swirls. Now, those of you who also tune in to our Facebook page throughout the week know that we have a great Tri-Day Friday every Friday. And this card was really inspired by one of those Tri-Day Fridays. Do you guys love that? When you see something and then it sparks kind of that creative thought or creative mojo in your brain, and you're like, oh, I want to put my own spin on that idea. So that's what this is all about. These two exact same dies that I'm using today are the same ones that Miss Lynn used on one of her Tri-Day Fridays. So I think that's going to be fun. And if you missed that, definitely go back and check it out. And those, of course, are all listed on our YouTube channel at the same time. So I'm going to put these aside for just a second. I'm going to bring in the stamp set I'm going to use because unlike some cards where I usually leave the sentiment for the very last, on this particular project I'm going to start with a sentiment. And this sentiment, which I absolutely love, is called May Your Days Be Merry and Bright. It comes from this stamp set. And check it out, guys. This is something you don't see too often. This is actually a double stamp set. So this is a stamp set that comes together in a bundle. It only has the one SKU, which by the way is 0607. That's a holiday set. And it is kind of fun because it was originally a hostess set. Now this was a set that you would have had to have a $600 party in our old business model here at Fun Stampers Journey. But now, since we no longer are operating under that model and we have more of a hybrid retail model here at Fun Stampers Journey, you can get the stamp set, which like I said is a double set. It has both big, huge, gorgeous red rubber pieces, and it's only like $21.95. So smoking deal, go check it out. So anyway, it has a really lot of cute sentiments, but the one I'm going to use is this one right here. May your days be merry and bright. And I'm going to go ahead and just stamp that first. Which do you guys do? I want to hear some comments. Do you guys start with your sentiment or leave that for last like I usually do? Or do you at least pick one out first? Which is it? Okay, so that stamp, of course, because we do have the deeply etched red rubber, stamped so beautifully, so crisp and gorgeous, like can't even stand it. Love it so much. So this is where we're going to start with a sentiment. And then I'm going to add a few little fun ornament pieces. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and die cut a couple of our circles. Now you'll see that we have a lot of different circle dies, and I just want to briefly go over those with you super fast. Because our original Journey Circles die set, and I'm just being real here, guys, this is my Journey Circle set. You can tell it's been well loved. This, if you follow our SKU numbers, is our number 39th die that we ever created here at Fun Stampers Journey. So 0039. We've had these circles and they have been classics for so many years. But we always kind of wanted those in-between sizes that go right where instead of the piercing is, those circles that fit right in between. So just last year we came up with this circle around die. Get it? Like we circled all the way around. Because look at this die number, 466. That is a lot of dies we've produced between number 39 and 466. So it took us a while to circle around, but we did circle around. Now we've created all those circles that fit in between the original Journey circles. So isn't that cool? Super fun. So these are both what I call must-haves. Gotta have them because you always need those circles that are all the right sizes, right? I do. I know I do. So I've went ahead and cut two circles, and I'm going to turn these into fun little ornaments for my card, whichever way we want to go. So I'm going to teach you just a really quick, super easy blending technique. And this really works great with our True Fusion inks. And if you don't know what a true color fusion ink is, it really is the perfect marriage between a pigment and a dye-based ink. So you've got the best of both worlds. You've got the really yummy color of a dye ink, that true vivid color that will not fade. And then you've got the richness of the pigment too that's going to stay on your card and just give you that really vivid, bright color too. So we've got the best of both worlds with these inks. And because of that, there's some little extra tips you can learn about blending them. I'm going to start with my greens. So when I'm blending two colors, I like to take 2 shades of one color. So in this case, I've got 2 shades of green, and I'm going to switch over to 2 shades of red. And I'm always going to start with my lighter shade. So I'll do my little ornament first. So I'm going to start with Sweet Pear. And then this is just one of our small daubers, and I'll use the bigger dauber for the reds. And then I'm just going to come in and start adding ink. I'm going to kind of come in from the edges and just start adding ink, And it's really pretty easy. I do want kind of a little bit of a highlight in my ornament, so you can see that I'm not being super frantic about getting every square inch of the paper. But now that I've gotten one layer of ink on there, what it's doing is it's kind of soaking into the paper and absorbing a little bit. And that's going to allow my second layer, which is my electric lime, to show you that real quick, just be able to soak up all the better. So now I'm going with the same dauber, so I'm kind of contaminating my dauber a little bit, but it's fine. Now I'm going to come in with electric lime and see how darker and prettier that is. I shouldn't say prettier, but just adds a lot of depth to the sky, this little circle. So again, coming in with the edges and just working in toward the middle. Again, kind of trying to leave that little highlight there. If you don't, that's okay too. But so see, now that you have the first layer of ink, when you add the second, it really starts getting yummy and filled in there. I love it. And a lot of times I'll try to come with one side and just go a little bit darker. So the fun about this ink too is that you can layer it and keep adding darker and darker tones. So it's going to dry pretty quickly though, unlike a pigment ink that stays wet for a long time. The joy of the fusion ink is that the dye ink will dry quickly. So that's pretty fun. I kind of like that one. I'm going to set that aside. And then I'll show you the same thing with the red. And the red actually shows up a little bit better because it's such a dramatic color. So again, I'm going to start with my Candy Apple, which is my lighter of my 2 reds. The Rich Coral has kind of a little bit more orange tone. So if you've had things like this where you come in and you have like little funky edges, that's what a lot of people wonder about, like, oh, how do I get rid of those? So what I say is just kind of keep working the ink in. And what it's going to do is once you get ink all over that whole paper, it kind of opens up the fibers of the paper. And see how the more ink you add, the more it blends, the better it blends. So again, this is my lighter color, so I'm not worrying about getting it perfect, but just getting that first layer of ink. And I'm going to come in with the Rich Coral, which is a little bit darker. And this time I'm doing a little bit more on the edges, but you can see right away how that Rich Coral starts darkening the tone. Love it so much. And we'll also smooth out anytime that you have little dauber strokes, this will continue to smooth those out too, because it's really about the second layer of ink. So you can keep going to town as much or as little as you want. Again, I'm trying to leave just a little highlight in the middle of the future ornament here. And again, keep playing and smoothing and adding and subtracting, doing whatever you want until you get it just perfect. So I'm pretty much in love with those two right there. Super cute. Set my dies aside here too. So now that I have these two, I'm going to go ahead and bring my base back. Actually, I might move this grid paper because it's all messy now. I'll bring my card base back in. So now I've got my two, what are going to be my two little ornaments. So I went ahead and really the only piece of the die that I used in this die set was just the little ornament topper. So I didn't use any of these pieces. So I cut one out of Rich Coral, and I cut one out of Limeade, so it's a little bit darker than my green. So I'm using those for the little tops of my ornaments. So keep in mind that anytime you have a die, be sure to use all the little pieces and use them in different ways. That's really fun. So I'll set that aside. Now I'll bring in the branch and cone. Now what I've done for this guy is I went ahead and just cut it's going to be like a tone on tone. I went ahead and cut both of these branches out of just plain white whipped cream cardstock. So I actually did 4 of them. I only have 2 cut right here. But these guys are awesome. I have seen this branch cut, I'm not kidding you, in every shade of green, and I've seen it cut in cool pool and fresh sage and silver and some of the mirror papers, and I have never seen it not turn out absolutely stunning. And I actually really love it in just the plain whipped cream too. So again, get a lot of mileage out of those dies, cut them out of every different color you can think of. So what I'm going to do for these guys is really just adhere them to my card base, just flat to my whipped cream card base. It's just going to add some fun texture and have some fun with that. So let me show you one more thing I'm going to do to these ornaments before I put my card together. And that's kind of a fun idea. I went ahead and grabbed some of our whipped cream paint. You can tell this one's almost empty right here. But let me go ahead and put a little bit out on my grid paper. Do you guys see how I keep the whipped cream, how I keep my paints organized? I just punch a little circle of cardstock. I keep it right on the top. And it's so easy to find my paints in my little bucket. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze just a little bit of white paint out here. And don't let me forget to show you how I store my dauber pads too. I'll show you that in a minute. So I've just got a little puddle of white paint. And because I want these ornaments to look like they've got that little shine on them, I'm just going to come in. This is our bloom tool. And this little head right here is one of the like embossing heads. So you've got 3 different sizes of these that came with your bloom tool. So this I believe is the medium size. You could use the large one too. But this is that little embossing tip. So you just go ahead and dip it in. I might practice on my paper. But all I want is a fun little highlight for each of these ornaments. So it's just as simple as that. If you guys have never done dip dots, like I like to call them, could not be easier, right? They're even a little textured, so you can see when you dip them in, the paint kind of stays a little textured like that. Super fun, so it's almost a little bit like doing your own little enamel dot or something. But it's so tiny and cute, I love it. Now I'm going to be clever and wipe away that paint, because if I don't, you know what'll happen. I'll put my project right in it. Have you ever done that? Like Journey Glaze or paint, all of a sudden it's like, I forgot that was there. So in any case, this will take a few minutes to dry. So I am going to go ahead and show you my finished project. Oh, but actually first, let me talk to you about the dauber storage. This is something that we came up with that's just simple and easy, and I thought it would be a tip that I could share with you. I've just taken a piece of, kind of like chipboard or a little bit heavier board, and I put a few little strips of Velcro. So this is the toothy side of the Velcro on my paper. And then this is how I store my little dauber pads. So I'll go ahead and peel this one off and stick it back on the Velcro. And then once I have my little collection of dauber pads for all my different colors, then they're handy. And I've just handwritten the names of the inks right here. So I'm sure you could be really fancy and do labels or anything like that. But I thought I would share with you how I store my little dauber pads, because I know it's come up a few times in some of our groups. Like, does anyone have any tips how to store these? So anyway, this is how I do it. So one idea, simple Velcro strips you can get at any little hardware type place, or, your typical department store. Okay, so let's take a look at this finished card, because I did one more fun thing. And then I added a couple little gems, but let me get my little guys aside there. So here's the finished card. And if you can see that it's got some fun sparklies on it, I thought it needed a little extra sparkle. And so I've used our sparkle silk. So before I added these 2 ornaments, you can see that there's no sparkle silk on the actual ornaments. So before I adhered these, which by the way are in little pop dots, I went ahead and added sparkle silk to the whole base of the card, even this sentiment. So you can see how it's pretty and sparkly on there. Love our sparkle silk. And then I also added a couple more of our little gems. I don't know if I have the packaging on there. These are our holiday sparkle gems, these guys. Super cute. So, do you guys love it? Do you love it? Super simple, super easy. Now, because I just couldn't leave well enough alone when I finished this card, I thought, if you follow me on my personal Instagram, you know that I've been kind of on a little rainbow kick. So after I finished this card, I thought, I need to really step it up and do a fun multi-ornament card. So do you guys want to see that? Yeah. Let me bring that one in. I did it a little bit different, but the basic scenario is the same. Actually, I'll keep my original one here too. So what I did is I went in with just a single size of circle. So this is just a little circle from the circle around. And then I just went ahead and did it in multiple little ornaments there. Same exact technique for blending the inks. This time I've got a lot of different inks. I've got Cosmic Grape way down here, and Catalina Splash, and Beach Breeze, Cool Pull Lemon Drop, Citrus Cooler, and Rich Coral on the end. So many colors. I just can't get enough of our True Color Fusion inks. They're so pretty when they're blended. This one does not have the sparkle silk because I figured it had enough color in it already. It would be cute with the sparkle silk, but you can kind of see the difference between those two, with and without. But same exact sentiment, same idea. Just kind of went a little crazy adding more and more ornaments. So super fun. I hope you guys loved that. If you have any questions about any of the things we offer here at Fun Stampers Journey, of course, you can always visit us at our website. And be sure to check out our Instagram and our Pinterest boards. And there's so many ways to connect with us. I just love that. And I hope you all have a wonderful holiday weekend. We'll definitely be back on Friday for Try-Day Friday. And you guys will have fun shopping at that holiday hoopla. I know you will. So have a great one. Thanks, and have fun bringing paper to life.